Okay, so this is a demonstration how to scrape YouTube reviews. And first of all, you have to check that you have a playlist defined in your playlist URL txt file. And the playlist URL just looks like this. I'm just going to grab a new one so I can also scrape new data because the other data are already downloaded. And I just see what I've still got in my personal YouTube account. You can also just sign up on YouTube, create your own channel and make your own playlists and collect videos that interest you for your research, but keep it small. So don't do more than 4 or 5 videos because otherwise the script runs.
I just got the perfect gift for my boyfriend.
So I just go for the Seretse Kama playlist that I created, which has a few videos on the history of Seretse Kama and his British wife, and that is a data set that you could analyze both from a feminist and a post-colonial perspective, for example. And to get the playlist link, you can just like open a playlist. Here I wanted to go. Open a playlist and then go to share, and then you should have an opportunity to copy the playlist link. And then you can paste this into your playlist URL file, which you have to save. And this can be a little bit tricky because there is no immediate save button on the screen. So what you have to do is go to File and just select Save Text. And then your new playlist is registered. And then you can also close this because it's a little bit destructive if there's too much open. And then you're going back to your YouTube web scraping file, which is the main script. YouTube comments is the file where the output will be saved, and API key is my personal API key, so you don't really have to change it. But of course, I recommend that you get your own because now at the moment, I'm the person responsible for any kind of mischief that you might be doing with this API key. So if you can get your own and also paste it in there and save text, I would be quite happy because then less responsibility for the data is on my shoulders. And then when you go back to YouTube web scraping, you can ignore the white sections because these are just comments for you to understand how the script works and start with the gray sections. And to run them one by one, you just jump in and click on the play button up here, which says run the selected cells in advance. And when you start, you can see that a lot of installation happens. And when it's successfully completed, you see done. And you really have to wait for done to show up. If you stop this early, the next steps will fail. Then we are going to start the client and import other relevant packages that we need. And there too, you should be getting a done message when it's successfully completed. Now we're collecting the actual reviews. This is a longer section of code that you can see here. You don't have to change anything at all. It will just go through, and this can take a few minutes, so you have to be patient. So you jump in and you click on the play button again. And then you can see new comments are being saved for video ID, and then you see an ID. And I put in a message, please be patient. We are now collecting the next batch because, as I said, depending on how many comments you have, it can take a few minutes. So just let it go and wait. And of course, you have to make sure that your connection in the background is stable. So if you get disconnected from the internet or just the VPN client, this won't work. And then the script will also give you an error. So make sure you have a stable internet connection. Maybe ideally do this while you are on the fastest network, which is usually quite reliable, and then wait for your comments to come in. So I'll just let this run to show you what the end of the process looks like. And you can also see that at some point the video ID changes. So at the beginning we had EF something, then OI something, and now we are at SAG1, etc. And that just means that it's scrolling through the different videos in your playlist and collecting comments for all of them. So one student asked me if they have several videos they're interested in, how would they scrape them all? And the answer is make a playlist and scrape the playlist. So we're not scraping individual video comments, we're scraping batch comments for an entire playlist. Yeah, so this is why the ID also changes. And if you want to find out later for which video you collected the IDs, you can of course check the ID in the file name and identify which video they came from. So you have a clear link between your data and the metadata as well, because I'm using this ID to write the file name in the YouTube comments output folder. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a few moments when this is ready. So the last video seems to have plenty of comments, so that's why it's taking so long. And I also hope that the process is stable to run till the end. Okay, so we're done because it says all comments scraped, and this is the message you need to have to be sure that your data were successfully collected. Then you can now jump to YouTube comments, which is your output folder, and you can see that I have scraped a lot of comments from other videos in the past, so it's very important that you check the timestamp, and you can ideally sort it in descending order, so you can see which ones were created only a few seconds ago. And you have to give it a moment to write all the data, because we've scraped 3 different videos, and the last one here is maybe not even like fully complete yet. So don't jump in right away after you scrape and download. Just give it a few minutes before you check. And when you have an information like 3 minutes ago, then you're definitely safe that the file is written and that you have the complete data in there. And of course, the stuff I scraped last week is then 10 days ago, etc. You can, of course, also always delete files you no longer need. So if you say, I downloaded this already, you just delete to keep your folder neat and empty, but you can also just sort by last modified and then grab the latest information. So you can see that we had 4 different videos in this run. The last one that was only written a minute ago was also the one that took the longest to scrape, and then 2 shorter collections of comments. And the IDs that I mentioned are at the front of the file name, so you can easily re-identify the video. So if you jump back to the playlist on YouTube and look at the first video, I know it's going to make an awful sound. Then you have the video ID when you go to like the share link, then this comes up there. Yeah, so here in the share link that you get, you can re-find the video ID. Yeah, and then you can link it to Suretse Karma interview if that's relevant for your analysis. And then of course, if you open the file, you can see that it's a table format, so CSV file, and you can see that it has a comment here, and then also replies if there are any, a date, and the username of the person who left the comment. So sometimes it can be interesting to identify if, for example, one person has commented several times, if one person has constantly replied to existing comments, etc. So that would be an option to find that out. And of course, your dataset gives you an idea when these comments were left. Yeah, so then you can basically go back in time and also see, oh, has the discourse about a particular topic changed just based on the timestamp? And sorting by timestamp could then also be interesting for creating sub data sets to analyze in Voyant. And here you can see that we do have a few emojis in the comments, but not too many. So I'm not entirely sure that would be a problem when we ingest this into Voyant tools, but in most cases, it's quite rational. What we have here, interestingly, is that somebody quotes a lot from the King James Bible, and they have different books in the Bible that they're referencing, including Isaiah and Psalm. And it's really, really long comment, also with a lot of formatting, but that too should normally be processed okay by Voyant tools. So don't worry if you find something like this. And yeah, in most cases, you can then just download the file by clicking right and going to download. And then you have it on your computer and can also open it locally or ingest it into OpenRefine for further editing. If you want to open it locally, there's an option, of course, to open this as an Excel table, but you can also just look at it as a comma-separated file in any text editor, and then you get something like this. Yeah? So that looks, of course, a little bit more messy because now the columns are just divided by commas. But if you just want to get an impression if your data set is complete and if you downloaded everything, then this is the way to go. And also, if you want to clean the data set further, opening it in a text editor is usually the step to take. So what we can then also do, and I just show that, is get the title and comment out for your analysis. So open Refine. It doesn't make a difference whether it's installed on the server or locally. It looks the same. Wait for it to open in your browser. That can take a while. Then go to Browse. Oh, this is data I used yesterday with my students. So we have to go to Download, select the file, open it, click on Next. And then you get something like this. If there is no reply for a comment, you just get an empty list marked by brackets, which you can ignore. So that should also be automatically filtered as punctuation by Voyant and not cause a problem. And you can see that the comments are otherwise neatly separated in a column, and it all looks fine. So you don't have to change anything down here. You can just basically go to Create Project. And then you have a table that you can edit further. The default shows you only 10 of the data in a data set. So if you want to see more, you can basically select up to 1,000 rows. And then you do have most of the data set here on page 1. If you want to click to other pages, you can go to next. Yeah, but usually you don't use this to read the data. You're just using it to export. So an option to basically just grab the comments and the replies for a clean TXT file is to go to Export, select Custom Tabular, and then deselect the date and the username, because this is distorting text analysis and Voyant, and only keep the comments and the replies, and then go to Download and make this a custom separated T and go to Download. And then you get a clean text file that only has the comments and the replies, and this will look like this. Yeah. And if you then, this you can basically put into Voyant, and I'll try it just to see what it looks like. So let's go to Voyant Tools. So you can upload this file from your local computers. Here we are. So this is the first one on the interview, uploading corpus. And yeah, we have a fairly neat word cloud. We do have problems with the emojis though. So in this case, I would maybe suggest cleaning the data. Okay, so let me stop the recording here and do the recording for the other data set type that we have.